At Harold Park in Sydney on Friday night was the $200,000 Invitational Classic for 4-year-olds, the Chariots of Fire over 2,160 metres. Well, our harness racing expert Adam Hamilton now joins us to relive the big race from Harold Park, where, Adam, it is fair to say that the bookies really underestimated the chances of the Western Australian trained Beefy T.
Yeah, no doubt about that, David. It was billed as a match race between the Victorian star Blue Eagle and also the freakish New Zealander Ilva Colo, and bookmakers betting really determined that, with Ilva Colo starting a short price favourite. Blue Eagle challenged him for that mantle before easing slightly, but Beefy T, well, rated an outsider, but certainly not by his trainer John Green.
Yeah, a bit like Lee Friedman yesterday at Eagle Farm. He firmly believed that Beefy T would get there, but 20-to-1 odds.
Yeah, it was quite incredible, really. I suppose bookmakers really canned him a little bit on some below-par performances during the Inter-Dominion back in Perth in February. But you'll see here, David, Son of Pearl shows a brilliant speed to go to the front. But the key horses that we're watching to figure in the finish are Beefy T there in the green with the yellow spots. You can see him running fourth at this stage. And the other two key runners that were expected to fight it out are Ilva Colo there in the darker blue colours with light yellow spots, and just in front of him, the Victorian Blue Eagle in the blue, light blue and white V.
The Blue Eagle, of course, was chasing his third win in this event.
Yes, he's an outstanding prospect, and he'd won 12 races on end going into this, and he was really expected to be the emerging star of Australian harness racing. He does, you'll see he does disappoint here slightly. When he takes off at about the 500-metre mark, about a lap from now he takes off, Blue Eagle, and he does come quickly. Now, this is the winning move from Victorian driver Michael Langdon, David. He sums up the slow pace up front and makes a move around to sit outside the leader. And it was at this point here where some people were critical of the drives on Blue Eagle, driven by Victorian Chris Elford, and also Ilva Colo, driven by the New Zealander Mark Purdon.
Well, great tactics by Langdon, but he must have known that Beefy T would show that great staying ability to outlast the favourite.
Yeah, it was interesting. Whereas some people were critical of the drivers back in the field, Michael said at this point exactly here, 1,200 metres from home, he said, I knew I had the race won. He said, going back to that form in the WA Pacing Cup in January, he said, I know what the horse is capable of when he gets outside the leader. And he said, I thought there was no dangers this far from home. But we'll have a look at Blue Eagle here. Chris Elford, there he is, 3 horses back on the outside, with Mark Purdon watching his every move. And when Blue Eagle takes off, the crowd really rose in expectation. But, gee, it was only a couple of 100 metres later and the horse had run his race.
OK, it ends up being a tremendous win by Beefy T. We might just take the concluding stages now of the race. The $200,000 Invitational, the Chariots of Fire, Harold Park last Friday night.
Trying to track Blue Eagle, but he might have sprinted too quickly. Out of the back, and Son of Pearl joined by Beefy T, and Blue Eagle sprinting up 3 wide. Ilva Colo is starting to motor home now, and then Mainland Spur and Late Bid. Coming to the turn, Beefy T in the middle joins Son of Pearl. Blue Eagle 3 wide, and here's the Kiwi Ilva Colo. He's coming right to the outside. Beefy T went to the lead for Son of Pearl. Blue Eagle can't get to them at the moment, neither can Ilva Colo. Beefy T's in front, getting close to home. It's going to be a boil over. Ilva Colo will get up for second, but Beefy T's won the Chariots of Fire.
Yeah, Beefy T, Adam, and if you're on it, $26.90 on the New South Wales TAB.
Yeah, you can see going across the line, it was a very happy Michael Langdon. He's a tremendous young fellow, and he made the move from New Zealand across to base himself at Bendigo in Victoria a little over 2.5 years ago, and for Michael, that's vindication of a very big gamble.
Well, Friday night, the beginning of 5 wonderful weeks of racing at Harold Park, culminating with the Miracle Mile in June.
It certainly is. Next Friday night, David, we have the Australian Pacing Championship. It's a standing start race, and it's the next Grand Circuit race on the calendar. And a real highlight of last Friday night's meeting was the win of Master Musician, the old New Zealand warhorse, who will probably go into the Australian Pacing Championship as the one to beat. But I'm going to tip the champion Western Australian mare, Norm's Daughter. I think she's on target for a big win next week, David.
Adam, thanks for joining us, and let's hope 5 wonderful weeks there at Harold Park. Thanks for joining us on the show this morning.
Thanks, David.
OK, harness racing expert Adam Hamilton joins us on Sports World. We'll take a break and be back with more in just a moment.
This is the prototype of the modern game. It is big, it is fast, it is phenomenal.